Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto TA Charts live stream with me, No FOMO Charts. It is Sunday, January 15th, 2023, in the evening, PM Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be quite a busy week for stocks and crypto as well. So I'm anticipating some volatility. So let's go ahead and check things out. So USA stock market earnings season continues this week with some big name players. We also have a lot of events happening. So we have Goldman Sachs reporting earnings, Morgan Stanley, United Airlines, Charles Schwab, Prologis, Netflix, American Airlines, Procter & Gamble, Ally Financial, Fastenal, just to name a few companies. Those are the big names. For the USA economic data releases, we have data such as the manufacturing index, PPI, retail sales, core PPI, core retail sales, unemployment claims, existing home sales, and several FOMC member speeches. But the big event in terms of economics this week is the World Economic Forum, WEF, the meetings at Davos, Switzerland. That's happening for 5 days straight. So we're going to see a lot of news every day on the financial news and financial newspapers as well, and as well as TV, in terms of speeches and quotes and headlines every day. So we haven't had this World Economic Forum meeting for about 3 years now, so it's kind of a big deal. I'm anticipating people, the big, top big bank players, big finance players are probably going to give their call for the rest of this year. So we might see a little bit of a mixed perspective. Quite a bunch of news. As you can see, I'm pretty thorough, so let's go through it really fast. In terms of stock market earnings season for USA stock market, continues week 2. The WEF Forum continues and begins this week. The World Future Energy Summit begins and continues in Abu Dhabi this week. The USA debt default risk. There is risk by June 2023 if Congress does not take action to raise the debt default ceiling and approve that. Amazon company is beginning to lay off their 18,000 plus employees this week. Tesla cuts vehicle prices up to 20% in an attempt to boost sales demand and the federal EV tax credit eligibility here in the USA. FTX crypto exchange, SBF, and their lawyers in courts claim to have located over $5 billion in liquid assets. That could also explain why we had an additional crypto rally as well. Also, crypto exchange CEO SBF was released on bail about a week or two ago. In terms of COVID, China re-reported their hospital-related deaths for COVID after opening their borders to international travel, and now the number suddenly jumped to 60,000 deaths. So very unfortunate, very sad. In terms of the business, Chinese Lunar New Year begins this weekend. So many factories probably already shut down in the past week or two. Definitely shutting down probably this week, maybe even next week. But supply chain is going to be very slowed coming out of their production stopped if you're familiar with Asia production and factories. UK, the strikes and protests continue for union workers, teachers, and nurses. Back to the USA, the Federal Reserve ended this month is going to vote on interest rate policy changes. And the stock market is closed on Monday, January 16th, in observation of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, very historical day. Okay, so that's all the big events for the stock market side. Let's go into some of these stocks, ETFs, and crypto. I'm going to do a shorter stream today just to give some of the highlights because there's so much volatility going on. So we're on an S&P 500 chart right now. We're on the weekly, and if we open up the chart, we could see going into this real week of earnings, we have the potential upside down head and shoulders. That's one pattern. If that's a bull case scenario, we should be able to go up over time somewhere about 13%. That'll take us to almost all-time highs in 2022. So it's quite a long ways to go to hit that target if it's going to be bullish. The other pattern that I'm seeing is we're just trying to break out of the resistance zone. We might have actually just broken out of it just barely, trying to test it. There is this short-term symmetrical triangle as well here. So there's actually two patterns. Okay, so the first pattern is we can see this descending wedge. We're just at the resistance point on the X. So if we do not break out, let's think about both cases. If earnings this week or for the next week in terms of tech are bad, we might see a pullback down. So there could be a double top formation that's forming. So the resistance we have to really clear and break out above is basically $406 here in the first silver line. The second resistance at 425. Our support to the downside is 382. And the big support down here at 358. So I'll just leave these numbers here for next time. But if we're going into a weekly large symmetrical triangle, there is still about 10% volatility. So bearish case, what that means, bearish case, you might be able to fall back down to here like 342. The bullish case would try to see a breakout attempt up to 428 in the longer term time frames. All right, let's go to NASDAQ. So we're still in the downtrend on the weekly side. However, in terms of the resistance, we might have broken out of this resistance. Still inside. Okay, still inside. Visually still inside. But that's what I might be looking for. So two things that I'm looking for on this chart. There's a smaller daily potential head and shoulders that's looming. So any bears might be looking at it from that perspective. If it's going to go down, that's approximately 10% down from the breakout, which takes us down to 239. That's our bearish target. However, if this double bottom in the price down here around 262 holds, we just pivoted above 265.80. Nice. Okay. Then our resistance is 292, 305, and 330. So hopefully we can get a double bottom for the bulls or a higher low. And then if this turns into a W reversal pattern, it's really 10% from the breakout. So really somewhere in the upper 320s can be a nice target. So our bullish target over time is about 320. The bearish target about 240 to the downside. I'm on a weekly chart, by the way. It's a very, very long-term weekly chart. We just had this morning star pivot to the upside. So we'll see. It's earnings though, right? So people have already placed their quote unquote bets in the market to in front of earnings, but it remains to be seen. Let's go to Dow Jones. And I'm thinking I'm looking at the market right now from a longer term investment standpoint. I'm not looking at it from a 1 minute, 5 minute day trading scalper. I'm talking about investing, swing trading. We're talking about 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year outlook, because it's always good to have that outlook. Plenty of other streamers and traders do shorter term, especially during market open hours. But it's always good to take a very broad perspective and approach. Dow Jones. All right, so obviously Dow Jones broke out months ago. Now where are we? There's the golden cross. Might have to turn this on. In terms of the daily, there's the golden cross chart here in the yellow and red. Right, we just bounced off that. This could be good news for Dow Jones. If we clear the resistance of 346, that'll be good. However, I am anticipating in the past, if we rewind to the pandemic in middle of 2020, you could see this is the reference that I'm using. This is only one scenario, so past results do not predict future moves and results. But you see, once we have the golden cross, we do have some little pullbacks, some dips. We can go extended and then pull back significantly, either to the 100 EMA or 200 EMA. So there might be a second attempt in the future, but we're kind of like right here in the price, in the white price, right? Or the golden cross, we might be like somewhere here as a reference. So fast forward to today, right? You can kind of see it. We hit this 50 EMA, we bounced off of it. It's not quite exactly the same. but it's sort of like this price action. So you can see if it's going to turn into a real bull rally, we should see some real significant progress in the face of inflation and recession risk. Way back in 2019, this might be a better example where we bounced off the EMAs and we kind of went up for a little bit, but then we pulled back 3 months, 6 months later. That could happen. So I am potentially watching out for this circle pattern just from my memory and from knowing the charts is that could happen. So you just want to watch out for that. So maybe next quarter, if we have bad earnings, market pullback, definitely possible. We're going into earnings right now, so we'll have to see. But if it's going to keep rallying, okay, perfect. There's a little formation here. You can measure that 5%. If we have 5% breakout, next target is 363 up here. And then the EMAs, we like to see that fan out for a real bullish move. Are we going to go super oversold again? We would need some catastrophic news in the market, meaning either all the earnings are bad or just something bad happens with the government to cause fear. But we did have a upside down head and shoulders reversal on the RSI. We found support up around the 50% 6.8 retrace. Looking okay for now, meaning how do I know we're okay? We need to stay above the support level, which I'll draw in a yellow box here. We need to not go below basically 323. 323 is our line in the sand for bulls. And one can also argue that if we pierce above 350, then 346 immediately is going to be our next line in the sand. So we could draw these two yellow lines, okay? Just draw these two yellow lines. We either get this breakout, good, or we get a breakdown, okay, and then we need to hold. If it falls down, that would be really bad. Okay, let's go over some highlights. Let's see here. Just very quickly, we'll go over US oil. So US oil, we did bounce up above the resistance of 64. We did hit the resistance target of 69.50. I think I said that exactly last week. So then if it's going to keep breaking out to the upside for whatever fundamental reasons, then next resistance 73.77. But we need to see it really pierce through. It's not really overbought. It hasn't been like that for a while. Now, 1 hour, 4 hours getting close. 1 hour start to upcross those. So there might be a mini pullback in the day trading on the price and then a rally attempt on US oil. Support to the downside would be about $69 to 68. Natural gas, next symbol. Natural gas continues to fall in a downtrend in the daily chart in the white price. So our low high, we're hitting our lower low right now, hitting our target of 1139. So it's in a free fall right now, but as soon as the day traders and the swing traders are going to try to pick this up, there might be some fundamental change that needs to occur. But we're in some kind of zone. So I'm going to look for some support zones looking left right now. We just lost the 1150 over the past week or so. So you could see the next zone down is in this $10 range. So that's pretty low. 1034, $9, 829. It's not quite super oversold. Just a quick check. This is delayed data, by the way, on the weekend. But it's still downtrending in the 5-minute, 15-minute, the 1 hour, still downtrending, etc. So until you see some significant support or reversal or like a V pivot, V reversal on the downside to the upside, once that happens, then maybe natural gas could bounce to about $13 or so. Okay, let's just quickly go through gold. Gold having a nice rally continuation. I'll clean up this chart. So after this, which I was talking about this a long time ago in September, October, November, we have the triple bottom here and it's continuing to rise. So some people are flying to safety, some people chasing the gains right here. But let's see what's the move now. 17%. That's a pretty monumental, large move. The last time we went 14%, we had a pullback. So at some point, this thing is going to get too overbought on shorter term time frames and somebody might sell. So we might want to watch out for that. But as for now, if I do a Fibonacci extension just to kind of get some general levels here, we're at the 1272. If we hit the 1618 target up here, we might hit this 185. 190 and then 200 are obvious resistant targets. We're still uptrending and upcrossed in the 1 hour, 4 hour. So any dip might be okay to try to trade for educational, but once we have the dip fails, then we have that downtrend. So be careful. Stop losses are always needed for trading. Let's go to silver. Silver is very similar, although the golden cross is a little bit more clear, more normal looking, right? So it's kind of topping out here. It just bounced off in the short term, but we had this large upside down head and shoulders, which almost looks like the S&P 500 a little bit. So this could be what the S&P 500 could potentially do if we have a bullish reaction. So we could see the 18% target, 18.5% would be about $23 up here on the upside. If it pulls back, our support levels could be 21.65, 20.83, and then $20 itself. We are approaching this left side resistance price area. So that would be like $24 to $25. So I would watch out for that. Let's mark that for next time in terms of that yellow. And our support level, if this thing pulls back, you'd have to pull back serious and start downtrending. It's not doing that right now. Silver is still in the 15-minute, 1 hour uptrend. It is starting to kind of go sideways a little bit. So if somebody's a day trader or a swing trader trying to make sense of this, we could parallel channel this side, meaning this part here, it could be continuation. So it's either going to break out to the upside or fall back down temporarily. So I'll just watch out for that. All right, we'll do a couple stocks and we'll go to crypto. Let's look at the list. It's going to get bright on the screen here in a few seconds. Let's go back to the list. We'll just look at a couple of these, especially like Netflix, and United Airlines, American Airlines. Let's do a couple of these. So bring this on a different screen. All right, just a big name, Goldman Sachs. It's similar to Dow Jones in terms, we're on GS chart right now, high, low, high, low, high, low. So if we have good earnings, we can anticipate a potential higher high. If it's going to happen, it's still talking about our resistance here, 411. That still matters. So that's the upside target. The downside target would be 343 or 315 support levels. So I'll just put this to 3 levels for next time. Next chart, United Airlines. So United Airlines, everyone kind of buying into this rally, shorts taking their profit or stop loss, longs initiating, right? Shorts were taking their profit down here, longs initiating, short squeeze, day traders jumping in on the last couple days here. It's kind of getting into a little bit of a FOMO situation, right? In terms of stocks and crypto, you kind of feel it, you kind of see it in the market, whatever way the market moves. People are going to try to chase that. Although this move is piercing a little bit out of the Bollinger Band, just a little bit, right? In terms of the middle, I'm on a weekly chart, by the way. If we were on 37 support, we're approaching the resistance now, 53, 59, and 62. And you might be scratching your head wondering, like, why is this rallying when the airline industry is having so many problems? Well, the price sometimes does not correlate with real world news. So this also looks like some kind of buying, purchasing, right? In terms of just how clean it looks. So short squeeze, liquidations, longs, continuing, FOMO, hype, all the way right into earnings. Also, there is quite a bit of momentum building on that in terms of this play. Interesting. So it's up crossed on the 1 hour, 4 hour. The daily's up crossed as well, but I'll watch out for some kind of pullback, maybe in the smaller term areas. So maybe a pullback, maybe to 46.62 or 43.32. Somebody might take their profit if their earnings are bad. So we just watch out for that. If it continues to rise, we can see it go to 52.19 or 55. So I'll just mark this general area for next time. We'll see if we hit those levels. Okay, next, let's go to Netflix. Netflix has been in an uptrend for quite a while now. We did hit this. So to be clear in terms of here, that this head and shoulders did not come to pass, and we actually broke out. So that's why it's important to not get married to a chart pattern idea as an educational example. And if the market breaks to the upside, if somebody accidentally shorted this, let's say they're anticipating they thought we're going to drop. If somebody shorted this, a stop loss is completely needed, or else they will be down potentially -11 to -22% on this trade, or even worse, -44%, depending on the situation. So stop loss is always needed. Now, Netflix, if we zoom out a little bit, we can see Netflix is in an uptrend on the daily side. So this is a good example of a potential reversal, right? We went from a downtrend to sideways consolidation to an uptrend. identifying this turnaround. And if you were living through this, Netflix had so much bad news, but it's one of the first stocks to turn around in uptrend on the uptrend reversal. So now we're on the daily. We just draw our trend line on the bottom side and just kind of lock it in terms of the price. I like to box it in, so to speak. So if something breaks out, it's very obvious. We had our general, this is not quite the perfect pivot, but general pivot enough. That's what people were trading off of, this 277 level. Now we just broke out just barely above the 329 resistance. That's the top of our gap. This entire area is our gap zone. So we've been floating in the gap zone uptrending, but right into earnings. So just for example, Netflix earnings is always considered, people always looking about the subscriber numbers, the profit, what other tiers are there going to be for payments, etc. What kind of content direction, any comments, remarks the CEO and the CFO are going to make. So in terms of the volatility, we almost had, it's 20%. It's a lot of volatility. In 20 days, 20%, that's a lot of volatility. So where's our support level? We just had this golden cross, so which means that it could be bullish for Netflix in the future. Our support immediate is 318 or 295. If it's really bad, we might see this 273 range hit. An extension to the upside, because I can kind of see a 5-wave Fibonacci, 1, 2, 3, 4. There could be 5. So one small pullback and then 5 hitting the 368 level, which is our previous level of resistance over here on this left side. So I'll leave these two here for next time. All right. That's pretty much a quick overview. We're about halfway, a little bit above halfway. Let's go to crypto, and I'll check for any requests right now. Hello. Oh, we have a question here. Gold ? In terms of the price. So let's go to the ETF. Let me go to GC1. So gold $2,000 ? Is definitely possible because it's psychological. And last time, because I'm on gold futures now, so the last measured move we had was about 15% on this 200 EMA. Let's see, which pivot did we go to? Let me just rewind the charts here. Went to R2. Okay, way back then. Right now, we're way above R2. So in terms of the resistance 2 on the pivot indicator, this Bollinger Band went extreme outside on the daily, so it hasn't happened yet. So in terms of, if we go to a weekly, we can kind of see I could see a 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be in the 5th wave of gold, but we want to see the shooting star in the blue circle. That's how we know it's kind of over, right? This shooting star here, I don't know if you can see that, but it's out of the Bollinger Band. So once we have that super kind of FOMO buy pump, that's kind of like the last one. But 2,000 is definitely possible if you're asking. On the shorter term, we kind of want to see, it might not go oversold because when it uptrends, it's not going to crash that hard. But if the dips hold, it's possible. We're starting to get into the overbought range though. Last time we had a big pullback, RSI went to like 81. It's about 75 right now. So I would keep an eye on that as well. Okay, let's go to crypto, TOTAL. So what I want to point out to people is, swing trading takes some time, right? The support calls that I've been talking about, this took almost 2 or 3 months to play out, right? So this risk reward box that we're seeing, what was the time? What was the risk to reward? It was about 5% to downside, 6% to downside, and about 20 to 30% upside, right? So that's about a 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1 in terms of reward to risk. Now, in terms of the support, remember I was saying that if it holds support, we might get this W bounce and hit the top of our circle last time, 885. So we literally hit that and went to the 200 EMA and got some extra gains. What pattern was it? Our double bottom pattern. Multiple bottom down here. 12% was the target. Did we break out? We just hit that 12% about 2 days ago, or 24% would be the second target up here, about 1 trillion. So that's kind of the target, 1 trillion. Now it's good that we broke out of our descending triangle. I'm going to erase this so people don't get confused for next time. Okay, we hit our targets. Now, it was a descending triangle pattern, but if we hold and hold above, let's say, our previous level support of 900 billion, one pattern that can happen with the price, high, low, and then breakout, continuation. Let's take a look now at Bitcoin. Okay, let's not get too excited about this because you could easily have a evening star and this thing crash back down. So it's a maybe for me right now. In terms of long term, like 1 year from now, is Bitcoin going to be 50,000 or 100,000? Maybe. I want to see a little bit more as an investor, a little bit more proof that we're going to have this is the true reversal and not just some fake out before it crashes one more time. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin having a nice breakout. So remember last time talked about this potential almost rising symmetrical type of rising triangle. 10% to the upside. We went way above that. 20%, 23%. Watch out for this little island here. Okay. We just had the death cross, but the price reversed into it. Watch out for this little island to make sure that tomorrow or for the next couple days, this thing is not going to turn into an evening star reversal pullback back down to the support level. So I would watch out for that because it's almost every single crypto went up in the past like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So watch out for a small temporary pullback. If it doesn't happen, it might pull back just a little bit down to 20,003 or down to 20,000. And then if we blast off again to the moon, beautiful. But if it doesn't, just kind of watch out for that. Because if somebody's coming in kind of too late and they're going to try to day trade, then when everything's too high, might get pulled back into a little sell-off. I do want to point out, I'm on a weekly chart. I want to go to a weekly chart now just so we get the long-term perspective. I'm on Bitfinex right now. I'm going to turn everything off. Just looking at price. I'm on a weekly chart. Zoom out all the way. So if you remember my idea, I'm on a log scale, by the way. If you remember my idea from my profile, there's a long-term secret trend line here. We're still under it. Okay. If we tighten very closely, we're still under it. So that's why I'm not hyper bullish on Bitcoin yet from this perspective. Okay. If we look at it like this, we actually fell out of a 8-year trend line. Okay. Right at this X, we fell below that. This is an 8 years long trend line, extremely powerful. So is the resistance. The resistance is a 5-year trend line, very powerful on the top. So we need to really break through this thing to really get excited. Obviously, though, to get to the top here, it's going to go back to 60,000. So obviously, there would be a bullish move back on the day chart. But you have to remember that just because we have a little pop up does not automatically mean 100% we're going to the moon, Bitcoin 50,000 or 100,000. It's not true. It's not true. Also, the price is relatively high. Way back 10 years ago, Bitcoin was like $100. Okay, that's why you could go, 500 or 5,000%. Okay, but we're just bouncing off of what level then? This level, the previous 2017 high. That's basically where we're fighting right now. Right here at about 20,000 even. Okay, that's where we're fighting in Bitcoin. So there is talks of, yes, inflation and recession risk, but sometimes crypto acts as a hedge and just does its own thing. So what I need to see, if I'm going to call it an uptrend reversal on the weekly, is I need to see it actually physically keep going up. It needs to keep going up for about a couple months. This could be a low, high, low, high, low. This could just be a lower high. Are we going to get an upside down head and shoulders? Are we going to get a double bottom? Are we just going to get an uptrend reversal? Those are 3 educational examples I'm looking for, because if you look in the past, it definitely was going up, right? We're talking about this was definitely up. This was up, and then we had this in terms of 2019 rally, back in 2020 crash, and then we had a definite uptrend rally. That's what we're not seeing right now yet on the weekly investing chart. Weekly investing chart. So that's why I'm not going to call it yet. But if we can hold the low, so where we held the low, way back here at $200 Bitcoin, here at 3,000, here at 5,000. So, okay, can we hold the low at 15,000 and then rally over time back up to 60,000? If it breaks out above, finally, can we hit the 100,000 level and then all traders and news media will be going berserk? But if we can hold the low, that's what I'm saying. So if somebody's kind of risk friendly, right, in terms of if it's a 25% risk, what's the potential upside on Bitcoin? Maybe 100% within a couple years, right? 1 or 2 years as an investment. But how do I know it's going to be our low? We should never go down to $15,000 or $16,000 ever again for a couple years if it's going to be a next bull cycle, right? If we're honest with ourselves, when we had the crash to 3,000 way back here in April 2019, it never went down there again. 5,000 or a little bit below that in the COVID crash, in this blue line, we never went down there again. So at some point, Bitcoin is going to make its low, and then we're not going to go down there again if we have a next bull cycle. So that's what traders are trying to catch right now. All right, so now that we have that long-term perspective, let's just pretend if something really bad happens, what's the absolute reverse scenario of that? Reverse case, Bitcoin could easily crash down to 10,000, 5,000, or 3,000. Okay, so let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. We just had the death cross on the 5,200 EMA, right? So Bitcoin has a lot of work to do to get above these EMAs, 30,000, 40,000, and then people will start to get really confident about Bitcoin up here. It's still sort of a maybe right now. We just bounced off a double bottom price. That's all that happened. But how high can Bitcoin go really, right? In terms of buyers, like how high can it really go? That's the question. Other altcoins are different. Like if an altcoin's like $1, then there's plenty of room for it to go. But Bitcoin has been, it's good that we could buy micro amounts of Bitcoin, partial Bitcoin, it's okay. But supply demand, right? We just remember supply demand. Okay, let's keep going here. If you have any crypto requests, just let me know. I'm going to do a much shorter stream, try to end in about 5 or 10 minutes. Because we don't need to look at everything. I have to do crypto first. So let's look at Ethereum, Ethereum. And for this stream, I'm probably just going to answer like one question per person and trying to do a shorter stream. But thank you so much for following and watching. Appreciate it. Ethereum. Again, support level 1160, 1160. We bounced off that. Where was our target? Up here, 1500. Second target, 2000. Okay. Remember, measure this move is 50%. 50%. So if we keep going from here 50%, it'll be 2,200. If it's 50% from this bottom spot down here, that's where this 1865 target comes from. So just watch out. Watch out. It's symmetrical triangle trying to break out. That's what's happening. Symmetrical triangle trying to break out. Breakout, we have a little retest of the 200 EMA, which is right at $1,500. As long as we hold above that, then we're in clear skies. But if it happens to, if we see this or this in the market, beware. Beware. Want to watch out for false breakouts. Although this one actually might be the real one. But if we have this type of double top, I'm expecting pullback. If we have head and shoulders, pull back down. But if we have a retest, we make a higher high, then we're going to highs. New highs for 2023. Beautiful. Always remember, crypto can crash at any time. Crypto's not safe. So please don't think that crypto is the safest investment in the world. It's actually one of the most risky besides leverage. Leverage is kind of the most risky. Margin, that kind of stuff. It's the most risky. If it's a simple one-to-one long, then anybody who bought down here, pretty much in the clear. A lot of people, some people took their profit, but you want to watch out for that. Next, Binance Coin. Again, beautiful, just bouncing off of our perfect trend line pivot point. Okay, the target up here is 337. And then once we have this big kind of FOMO pump, that's when you know it's kind of over, when you have a large stick floating in the air, right? A lot of volatility. That was actually the FTX volatility, but you get what I'm saying. So how do we know it's going to be kind of over if you have this rounding or you have a big stick that goes up like that? So That hasn't happened yet. It's definitely possible. Some of the last traders, although the Elliott wave pattern is kind of becoming obvious. Here's my Elliott wave tool. Here it is. 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 wave, 4 waves. So we might see one last 5 wave before we have ABC correction, right? A little ABC, depending. It might consolidate. So I'm not saying it's going to turn to head and shoulders, but we actually might consolidate like sideways like that a little bit up here before the market decides, are we going to keep going or are we going to crash down or pull back at least? So target is somewhere up here at 330. The immediate target is 313. I do want to caution people that it's getting to the overbought region. It's starting to lose a little bit of its momentum. If you really want to get into it, you can look at a 4 hour. It's up cross. That's why I'm not saying it's going to downtrend. Up cross, 4 hour. What else do we need as swing trader? 1 hour has been up crossed. 15 minutes still sort of up cross, but going sideways. So day traders might try to sell off a little bit. Investors and swing traders are still probably going to hold on to see where the price action breaks. Solana. I could see here with the stair step pattern, just in case, Solana was one of the first altcoins to kind of break, and a very, very powerful break. High, low, high, low, high. So if we hit this higher low, the support on Solana, watch out if it crests back down to 1950 because it's up crossed and we're starting to see a little bit of this consolidation up here. It's in the overbought zone, starting to lose momentum on the daily. 4 hours or 1 hour, if we zoom in, not quite super oversold, but our 50 RSI, excuse me, down here is holding. So I can see this divergence setup playing out where you have this little symmetrical triangle. If this breaks down to the downside, watch out. Watch out. Okay. I'm not saying the crypto rally is over. I'm just saying watch out for these mini day trading pullbacks that might occur. We're still in an uptrend on the 1 hour, 4 hour. Daily is not quite uptrending, right? For this thing to upcross on the EMAs, I mean, Solana's probably has to go to like $200, $100, but that's a ways away. So just kind of watch out for that, right? We're still in the downtrend. So we have a nice relief rally in the circle, but is it our uptrend reversal? No. Okay, Solana is not 2021. This is a 2022 to 2023 chart, so watch out for that. Just a long-term perspective. Day trading is different, but long-term. Cardano, somebody asked me about this last time. Cardano, we hit the rally to the 100 EMA. Now let's get really, really accurate with this one. Slow down a little bit and draw our resistance. We just tapped the resistance. We're about to. Okay, so that's why it's a relief rally into the resistance zone. So until Cardano really breakout retest, then we'll see the FOMO happening if Cardano goes back to somewhere about $1. But this is the battle zone between bears and bulls. I'm watching this carefully. Cardano has been quite oversold for some time. It went to almost $3. It did go to $3. Pierced that. And it hit the low of 25 cents. This is what we're talking about. Crypto, we love those plays. If we Fibonacci for support and resistance, okay, we just hit almost our 0.88 resistance level. Our pivots, let me erase some of those. Pivot support. It's only R2 in terms of resistance. So we might see a little pullback here on some of these day charts on the price. Certainly the 15-minute and the 1 hour and the 4 hour are uptrending and overbought. So now there was a bearish divergence. I want to warn people about this. I'm seeing bearish momentum forming just on the short-term price pullback. When the RSI does this, when the MACD does this, the price does this, there's bearish momentum, bearish divergence. So the crash hasn't happened yet. It's just, I want to watch out for this price pattern. If we get a lower high and this crashes, then you'll know. Then we'll know the confirmation and probably retest one of these support levels on the downside. That's the bearish scenario. So I'm very carefully watching this 35 cents and the 33 cent range. If it breaks out to the higher highs in a bull case, okay, right here to 37, 40 cents, it's not impossible. Crypto, you know, the gains, FOMO, you can't stop it. Can't stop it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? But for me as a long, What I learned in the market is I try to buy low and sell high. If this was a swing trade, if it's just a swing trade, I probably would have sold already. If it's an investment, I might try to hold on a little bit. Hold on a little bit to try to catch like these higher lows, see if we could get on. But with the uptrend, we need to never go below 25 cents. We could retest 30 cents maybe, but if we should never test 25 cents if this is going to be the real moon rally where we go to the upside. Just watch out. We went from oversold to overbought. So certain algorithms are going to stop buying. I'm going to watch out for that. XRP, I'm going to go a lot faster on these last couple cryptos. XRP trying to hold its higher low in the price right here. See if we can get it. If it has a nice rally, there could be some space to go to 55 cents. That's a lot of profit. So watch out for that. XRP hasn't blown up yet to the upside. AVAX getting a nice higher low. We bounce off that $11. Do want to caution people to watch out for this larger head and shoulders that can happen. So it's not over yet. Like I said earlier, AVAX is a good example of if this is going to reverse, it needs to higher low out of here. It needs to stair step out of here. And then maybe we'll see a grand high in the future. We'll see. DOT. Okay, DOT. Remember, in the example last time, I was asking in this question, do we want to buy at zone A or B? Probably B if somebody believes the zone of crypto is going to, the support zone is going to bounce in the future. This is a relatively low price, except on the chart, it looks like not a lot, but it's actually 30, 50% drop. But anyone who bought this is already up 40, 50%. It's beautiful trade. Still in the downtrend though. Dogecoin still tightening up, hasn't really exploded to the upside yet, but just like Cardano or Ethereum, if this is a true upside down head and shoulders here and this breaks out above the neckline, this thing could go about 40% to the upside. 40% first target would be 12%. 80% would be about 15 cents here. So I'm just watching out for that. Now these three support levels I marked on the downside, I want to watch out it doesn't go below that. Then we know, okay, it's not time yet. But if we suddenly have a breakout, maybe, somebody might want to jump in on that. SHIB. All right. So this is the educational example on SHIB. Still perfect example. It's up 30% from the buy spot from 1 or 2 weeks ago. So same thing. It logic kind of applies in terms of we hit the support level and then we try to rally from it. But if I go on a daily, it's hitting our 200 EMA, it's getting overbought. You want to not get sucked into short-term FOMO. We're hitting this resistance spot right below 1100. So if the short-term day trader starts to sell off, you might see a little price reversal. Okay, because the Elliott wave is here. 1, 2, it's barely there. 3, 4, the 5. If this is the fifth, that's kind of a really overextended fifth wave. And there was a big fight here on January 14. That's a pretty suspicious looking candle. So the next week is going to be very important. We could continue bullish 10, 20 more %. How will I know it's over? If I see some shooting star taking profit up here, that hasn't happened yet, or a huge bullish engulfing candle like this red one to see if we're going to pierce back down. So SHIB hasn't really hit its upside target yet, like Bitcoin. So we'll see. But in terms of entries, 766 was a beautiful entry. And then that was the educational example for anybody who want to learn or try to do something like that. Okay, Matic trying to hold the higher low. Near, nice oversold bounce on near. Litecoin trying to hold its higher low here. Trying to uptrend, reverse. If it's possible, Litecoin keep going, right? But the short term can pull back. Uni, all of these look very, very similar. Chainlink, though, hasn't broken out that much. Trying to hold above its higher low support zone above $6 or $5.90. Right, so Chainlink is still kind of going sideways, but this one you can see the target's way up here, like 50% profit to the upside if it goes up that high. Tron just kind of consolidating. Attempt, we hit the target. So if that's resistance, watch out. That's not some kind of short-term ceiling. Bitcoin Cash, a little bit pop to the upside. When Bitcoin pops, usually Bitcoin Cash pops. So you can see very clean. Breakout 40%. Did we hit that target yet? Not yet, so it might not be over. 148 is our target up here. It's not even overbought here. On the downside, RSI 4-hour swing traders, I want to watch out. 15-minute, I want to watch out a little bit too. Oh, excuse me, I was on a weekly chart. So the daily is overbought. Just want to watch out for that. So weekly investment is it might not be the lowest spot. So 6 months, 1 year from now, where will Bitcoin Cash be? Maybe somewhere up here. In terms of investment, if we just zoom out and imagine, okay, if this thing is going up for a year, it might hit 188 or 257. If it's going to crash back down in 3 to 6 months, then okay, the downside is 113 and $100. Very simple idea. Very simple idea. Then it's just about risk reward. Ethereum Classic, beautiful. So here's a particular example of sometimes we're early, right? And managing that risk is very important. This is an educational example. Sometimes trades do not work. And back here, when we had FTX crash, that's why we crashed. But at some point, we find the bottom close enough to the $13 target, and then we have the reversal. So one trade should never blow up anybody's account or cause somebody to fail too hard, right? If somebody, let's say I did lose 10% on that trade, and I came back, I would have made 50 to 40%. So would have made that loss back if I waited and retraded, entered back here somewhere, and retraded this with the same amount of like 12% risk, and then this trade would have worked. Would have made 25 to 30% profit on that. So it's good to never give up. Same thing here with algo, right? Once we had that break down to the downside, the measure moved 50%. We hit that 50% measure move, and then the trade existed again. Okay. Overbought. You could see all these cryptos starting to get into the overbought range, right? Overbought range. So once it gets super oversold, then we have that bounce. But last time, you could see everything's still in the downtrend. It's not even going, it's not an uptrend right now in 2021, like 2021, right? So you want to watch out for that, that if this is fake, let's just think about it and be honest with ourselves. If this thing is fake, we should pull back down. Maybe we'll pull back down to get this, and then maybe we'll go up later. If it's real, great. Small pullback, and let's go to the moon, right? Everybody loves that. But since we are in the overbought zone and we haven't been here for almost 1 year now, be careful of that. Be careful, because last time we had the overbought zone, we kept crashing negative 85%. That's also one reason why we're down, is a lot of like altcoins were like 90% discount. I remember saying that a couple times. So on the daily, we're getting this overbought reaction. Now you might be wondering, like for example, on waves, well, how far up can we go? Well, there are plenty of tools out there. You could use pivots, you could use Fibonacci, you could just use EMAs to see where's our next resistance spot. 430, the next big resistance spot up here. But then you could also use dollar increments. So waves, next target be $3, $3, $4 in that range, and then $2 support. We should never, if we go below $2 support, you might want to get a little bit worried about that. If we hit $1, which we never did, that would be catastrophic. So $1.50, $2. But in terms of the reversal, I haven't seen this full uptrend to the upside yet, or at least signs of something bigger. It's just a oversold FOMO reaction, which is totally normal. It's okay. You just don't want to come in at the end of the FOMO. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to come in at the end, try to do this one day trade, and somebody lost right there. I'm guaranteed somebody did, unfortunately, because that's how day trading works and the psychology of trading. All right, so I'm not going to do all of these, but you can kind of see what I'm getting at. AVE was a very nice play. EOS. So I'm not going to do every single altcoin, because from an investing standpoint, I probably said it 3 or 4 times now. We'll just end on Bitcoin again. Bitcoin, we need to see the uptrend reversal. We've been downtrending for over a year now. So we need to see if this is the true bottom of Bitcoin. Let's just pretend it is 15,000, 16,000. We need to see the price remove the downtrend and then keep uptrending, reversal. So I would like to see maybe like a big head and shoulders or some kind of large double bottom like that, or just upstairs. And then once the signals change, then you'll hear the CNBC, all these people say like, wow, look at Bitcoin, etc. And then you hear the general masses jump in. But the experienced traders, I would say like kind of aggressive traders, we've been already trading this. We've been in this for a while now, for a couple months now. Okay. Somebody has a, let's do, just to end the stream, I'll do a request. Somebody has JBL. JBL, it's a stock request. JBL, this is a long entry question, so this is not a recommendation. Somebody's asking me about this, Casey, on TradingView. So potential long entry. Let's see. The entry price will be 78, even. Stop loss at 70.49 with a profit target of 92. Okay. Open that up for the 2-to-1 ratio. All right. So with this JBL, let's kind of look at the fundamentals a little bit here on TradingView. You get some free fundamentals on the side here in terms of the stats. All right, 1.5 million volume, market cap of 10 billion, earnings per share $7, shares float 127 million shares float. Okay, 0.41% dividend yield. All right. So there is just minimum volume. It's not the biggest amount of volume, right? And let's look at some financials here just as a educational example, right? Okay, decent revenue on the Q1 23. Looking at the assets, okay, the liability, the red line kind of going up a little bit. Debt to assets kind of flattening a little bit. Operating cash flow down, though, that's kind of concerning on that, right? So then we have the earnings upcoming. For example, these are just a couple of the easier stats to take a look at. So TradingView, that's, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, this was not here. So it's good to just check it once in a while. And then we look at a chart. So we have the earnings here at March 15, 2023. So that's a ways away. This is a New York Stock Exchange. So this is probably going to correlate with the SPY, with Dow Jones a little bit. Now, we want to watch out for high, low, high, low. Now we're asking, can we hit the higher high? But you have to understand, in terms of a buy point, this is a high buy point. I'm just going to tell you right now. In terms of it's already bounced. So where was the low spot as educational? There is a candlestick pattern here called a Morningstar. Triple candle pattern, if you know your patterns. Morningstar pattern right there. That was the entry. So somebody could have bought right here on the gap up. Somebody did, right? Because it gapped up. That means probably Asia, somebody in Asia, Europe, or the bots bought it here. And it's already kind of floating in the air right now. So just kind of watch out for the intraday pullbacks, right? So in the 1 hour, 4 hour, this thing might come down first. 15-minute, 1 hour. This could turn into a head and shoulders here. It's just down crossed, right? So unless the day traders buy this for some reason, it's still uptrending, but you might get a short-term pullback at some point in here. So just kind of watch out for that. But if you're going to hold on to it for a long time, then yes, we had the hammer on the weekly, and it's been rallying for a week straight, and it's not quite to the overbought. So you just kind of have to deal with the volatility. You have a large stop loss here, so hopefully you don't get stopped out. But this whole bounce is equal to 20%. Let me check something on a different panel before we close. Look at the... all right, this thing moves like $2 a day. So that would be what? I would round that up to 3%. So 6%. So you're in the stop loss range. So just psychologically, just mentally prepare yourself for that. So two scenarios, if I was trading this and if I happen to just buy at this exact buy point, is the support level is right here at $74. $74, that's halfway into your stop loss. If it goes deep pullback, that you'll get stopped out in a worst case scenario. In terms of longer term, if we're bullish, hopefully it is bullish. The market's bullish. You can see the targets here. The 1272 would be 85 and the 1618 would be 90. That would be pretty much close enough. It might not go to the 2 retrace in terms of Fibonacci extension, but that's what we're looking for. Now that this up crossed, it is high. Just watch out for this intraday support. We just need to never go below like 75 or 70. If it drops below 70, there's some kind of, that would be stopped out, but that would be a red flag for me on that. All right, thanks everyone for watching right now. Try to keep it under an hour. Thank you for watching. I'm streaming live here on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. We have a Discord group as well. Again, the stock market is closed on January 16th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the USA. We have a lot of stock market earnings, crypto volatility, global events like the World Economic Forum and World Energy Summit as well. So a lot of stuff going on this week. Next week, I will probably return on the evening of the 22nd or the 23rd, depending on what happens with my schedule here. So that's the next time I'll probably stream, the 22nd at night or 23rd at night in USA time. Thanks everyone. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.